Welcome to my final major project presentation, a Pecha Kucha presentation, on my project There's Something About Reading. It was originally titled The Wrong Side of the River for reasons which will become obvious further into this presentation. I'll take you through Reading, Berkshire, its wealth and poverty, and other aspects. My project is about the Gini coefficient. This is an economist's measure of wealth inequality and effectively represents how large a gap exists between the wealthy and the poor of a population. Reading is the fourth least equal location in the UK after London, Cambridge and Oxford. Reading Council will tell you it's a modern success story. Crossrail will open in 2022. It's home to 13 of the world's top brands. It's the centre for the UK's digital industry, employing 42,000 people. Over 28% of the inhabitants are graduates. And there are 7 major developments taking place in Reading Centre. This is Station Hill project, £550 million invested, creating 1,000 new homes, 600,000 square feet of office space, 8,000 jobs, and 100,000 square feet of retail and restaurant space. Another major development project is a joint venture between Hollywood Studios and Reading University. Together they're investing £200 million to create Europe's biggest film studio complex, opening in 2022, creating 3,000 jobs and expecting £500 million a year income. Green Park Village is an area of 150 homes, 450 apartments and a new railway station. Investment is £150 million. In 2020, 14 new houses in Green Park Village came on the market valued at £1 million each, all sold within 2 weeks. But my project is to ask the question, what lies behind these headlines, behind the developments, behind the success story? As Martin Parr said, the fundamental thing I'm exploring is the difference between the mythology of the place and the reality of it. Reading is a town of two halves, divided between the north and the south by the River Thames. North of the river is affluent and wealthy, and south of the river is social problems, deprivation, and poverty. North of the river, houses are the most expensive. It's got the lowest crime rate, the cleanest air, the cleanest streets, the most dentists, the most doctors. You'll find houses with helicopter pads, indoor and outdoor swimming pools, and boat docks. We call a locality of luxury, clean, polished, bright and new, but it's also empty, it's protective, it's unwelcoming, and it's hostile to others. It might be luxury, but what lies behind that? This is Reading Prison. Oscar Wilde wrote The Ballad of Reading Gaol in 1897, having spent 18 months as an inmate here. It closed in 2014 and will shortly be converted into modern flats. I suspect there's a new Reading prison. The defensive architecture on the north side of Reading leads one to suspect that that's a new Reading jail, one that's actually been created by the homeowner, as the following pictures will show. These are houses on the Warren. That's Reading's most affluent area and its newest prison. I go there quite regularly, but there's no people to meet and no community. But there are state-of-the-art securities, gates, spikes, locks, CCTV, dogs and alarms. If we look at the area of Reading that's south of the river, you'll find this is where Reading Council puts its drug addicts, the people with mental health problems, the ex-prisoners. There's a high number of unemployed. It's also a multicultural tapestry, but an area of change, of decline and renewal, of entrepreneurial spirit and optimism. Lorelei Lever, who's the licensee of the Reading Railway Club, tells me, if you can see grass, you're no longer in Reading. There is, in fact, a 9.6-year gap in life expectancy between people living north of the river and those living south. It's Reading's hardship area. There's a constant police presence, poor maintenance of buildings, a proliferation of fast food takeaways, and multiple ethnic shops. Local problems include drugs, prostitution, alcohol, theft and violence. It is also, however, the location of Reading's entrepreneurs, its wealth creators, the optimists. I find them open, I find them welcoming, I find they offer good service, and there is a warmth to the people here, a pride in the area in which they live, and a desire to make it better. The community of South Reading has moved on from biscuits, bulbs and brewing, and today is much more thriving. But at what cost? Let's look at the community. Let's look closer. Let's look at its organisations. What's happening to its Section 102 money? Where's it going? Jerome K. Jerome wrote the book Three Men in a Boat in 1889. He said, "We came to Reading at about 11. The river is dirty here. One does not linger in the neighbourhood of Reading." That may still be true, but Reading is broader today. Thank you for listening to my presentation on Reading, the Berkshire town that's full of affluence, full of poverty, with problems, but with optimism, with development money pouring in, with Crossrail opening shortly. Reading is a fascinating town to take a look at with a camera.